Please welcome Paul Flessner.
All right, that was the entertainment portion of our show. How the hell do you follow that guy, right? The Harley, the video. Jesus, Brian kicked my ass this year on entertainment value. That's never going to happen again. I promise next year I'll come out with something good. But got a lot of content in here, so we'll work with that. All right, so today I kind of want to introduce you to the .NET Enterprise Server Organization, actually show some pictures, introduce you to the team, go through the products. We're going to do a great demo, and then I'm kind of going to do a call to action, talk about what it's going to take to build the Microsoft server business into a big business for Microsoft. The servers. What do I see when I look at this slide? I see opportunity. I see opportunity to build a huge server business for Microsoft. Some would say it's a big server business today. It's about a $3 billion. Fiscal year 00 was about a $3 billion year for us, a little over, actually, $3 billion. A lot of people would be happy with that. But that's not a big business in terms of Microsoft. Our desktop business is a great business. If you look at that business, that's a $16 billion business for this company. Okay? $8 billion out of the OS and $8 billion out of Office. That's a sweet thing. Some say maybe too sweet, but we don't think so. We're going to push hard and build the server business into a business that big or bigger. And that's what we're going to talk about. But before we do that, I want to kind of introduce you to our team and talk to you a little bit about the .NET Enterprise Server Organization. Our mission, our goal, our objective is to build a great execution and management environment for all applications that want to run on the internet, inside the firewall, outside the firewall. We are about building applications and hosting those applications for execution. As a part of that, we ship some components in the operating system. Rodney Limprick, an ex-Tandem guy, big-time enterprise guy, been at Microsoft about 6 years. Rodney and his team build IIS and Com Plus that ships inside the OS. Those Doculab benchmarks that Brian put up, that's Rodney and his team, okay? That's IIS, that's Com Plus, that's performance. Quite honestly, the front end of those benchmarks, those CPC benchmarks, which are, by the way, database benchmarks, I just want to mention that. The performance in the front-end machines to getting all those transactions back to the database are the is the IIS application. They had a great release. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but a lot of reliability features in 5.0, great performance and scalability, and the team did a good job. Also, we ship MSMQ in the OS. That's Yaron Shamir's team out of Haifa. We're going to picture him in a second. Web data and a few other things. The SQL Server team. Those gentlemen have 120 years of collected ship experience. That's the management team of SQL Server. Those are the guys that are bringing you the world-class database products. Those are the guys who put the news in the Windows 2000 launch with the record-breaking benchmark. Okay, IBM came back and beat us. Who cares? That's just more hardware. We proved scale out is the answer. We've kicked Oracle's ass out of the top 10, or soon to be out of the top 10, I assure you, in terms of high-end benchmarks. We know we have more work to do, but these are the gentlemen that have brought you that product, and they do a tremendous job. Bill Baker, world-class guy in terms of data warehousing, OLAP. He's really recognized around the world as a leader in that field. Peter Spiro, whose picture makes him most likely to be a serial murderer, is also a world-class guy, actually in his field, one of the best database server guys in the world. Dave Reed, I believe, is next. Yeah, Dave has gone over, done a lot of different things at Microsoft, managed a lot of IIS, MTS in its early days, App Center, done a lot of different things. And now Dave is running the web data team to make sure our XML parser is high performance, our SOAP implementation, our managed code, MDAC, or managed code data access, MDAC, are all going to be world-class components as we scale them up and make them more reliable. Hal Berenson, been with the product group a long time. Hal's general PM. He actually, in a lot of ways, Hal coordinates and does some of the things that I used to do in my old job when I ran SQL Server. And also just UE, Loc, and a whole bunch of other tasks. And Ron's been with the product forever and ever, actually since the very early days, runs replication today. Dave Cameron, or Drake, as he's known. I just want to introduce you to these guys so you know him and make a connection with him. I'll go through this pretty quickly. Drake's been an important component of HIS. HIS team was a bit in trouble about a year ago. Drake stepped up, pulled the team together, got the product shipped. We had to cut a lot of features, but we will continue to push on that product. Those guys, a lot of them will be redirected to build app connectors for BizTalk Server, which we want to talk a lot about. but Drake has stepped up and done a great job. Gord Mangione runs the Exchange team. I'm new to the Exchange team. I've only been a part of the team a very short time. I wasn't part of the release process of that product, but Gord was, and Gord and that team worked hard, very hard on that product. Now, we've all had some problems with our email, and some of you are asking, did we release that product too early to market? The team stands behind that product 100%. If you've got issues with your mail, you're unhappy, send mail, Gord M. He will respond. That team is ready. They believe they can stand behind that product and make sure it's a good offering in the market. And that is an important product in terms of pulling Windows 2000 into the marketplace. Yaron Shamir, Yaron's been with the company 13 years. He runs our Haifa Development Center in Israel. They, as I said, create ISA, which is an important product that's going forward. I'm going to talk more about. And he also runs the MSMQ team. Mike Nappy, been with Site Server since its inception, learned a lot from the problems we had with the early versions of Site Server, and now will deliver Commerce Server 2000, an important product for us going forward in terms of pulling through all of our other server technologies and helping us to build that revenue model. Quentin, I shouldn't be wearing that hat, Clark, who is all of 15 years, no, he's actually in his 20s, the youngest member of our management team. Quentin has a lot of experience with the IIS team, really saw early on that they were going to need help managing out in terms of managing the applications and scale out, and had started the Kevlar team early on, which became the App Center team. App Center is his baby. He's going to drive it to market. He's doing a great job. Kavi, he has a reason to wear his hat. Singh, Kavi's a great guy. He's been doing workflow and orchestration with the company for over 3 years. This product is hot. BizTalk Server, we will introduce a concept called business orchestration. And I'm going to talk a lot about that. But this is a key product to help us really push our platform into the market, which is so important. I'll show you that in a second. Every release is better. This is what I stand behind. Any enterprise, you are nothing without quality. Yeah, you have to scale. Yeah, you have to have cool features. But you don't get to the table without quality. I give you my personal commitment every day that we will push on the quality of each and every one of these products. We will drive the quality to unprecedented levels. We will define quality to this industry on the server. And I give you my personal commitment to do that every day. Thank you. I know it makes your job a heck of a lot harder if we don't do that. This is an exciting time. Not since the definition and introduction of the graphical user interface has this company had such a strong and broad lineup of products, all shipping within a 6-month time period, all focused on the same thing. Before, it was graphical user interface. Today, it's building great applications for the Internet. These products are going to be a major thrust to the market. We're getting great credit for them in the press today. We're going to continue to push on that. Now, in terms of shipping, the first 4, Windows 2000, my hat's off to the Windows team. They did a great job. And then SQL Server, Host Integration Server, and Exchange have all released to manufacturing. The next 2, ISA and Commerce Server, will release in the late October, early November timeframe. I don't know which one will go first, but I feel pretty comfortable that they will go during that timeframe. Again, these are all internal dates, not to be shared with customers. And the last 2 products, I'm not sure, again, which is going to go, App Center or BTS, but they're in the November, December timeframe. Either one could easily slip into the first couple of months of the new year. Again, you know, when are they going to ship? The answer to that is when they're damn well ready. And we won't ship them before they're ready. Okay, this is what the perfect architecture should look like for us. This is what we have to sell. This is a happy customer and a happy Microsoft. All right? And I want to kind of spend some time going through each of these products, again, at a very high level. We'll have some fun with this. But this is important to understand. I'm going to make a statement that might scare a lot of people, and I'm going to show you the numbers at the end to back it up. We will not build a big server business for Microsoft by just selling Windows 2000 or any version of Windows. The revenue is simply not there. There is tremendous price pressure on the operating system business. Linux has had an effect on our business. FreeBSD has had an effect on our business. Don't get me wrong, you got to sell Windows. It's very important. We get nothing if we don't sell Windows. But we're not going to build a big business just by selling Windows. Selling these products, that's how we build a big business in tandem with our operating system business, and that's what I want to talk to you about. ISA, this used to be the Proxy Server 2.0. That product was, we didn't do very well with it. We got it in the market about $10 million, $11, $12 million a year. Just not much going on there. It was a weird product, wasn't really positioned against any competitor specifically, wasn't a firewall, wasn't a cache, just was a difficult sell. This product is absolutely a certified firewall. It's absolutely a forward cache. It's absolutely a reverse cache. Actually, it's the only product in the market that is all those things in a single product. This should be a runaway hit in the small to medium organizations. And you can also, for the enterprises, you can install the firewall on a set of machines and the caching on a separate set of scale-out servers. This is an important product. We can make some money with this product. They're also going to announce at the launch some very exciting runaway benchmark victories that I think will really help us get behind this product and sell it into the market. Application Center. Scale-out is the model. It's the model that's going to win. Okay? From a customer perspective, they don't know which apps are going to succeed or fail. The .coms don't know if they're going to succeed or fail early on. They want an architecture where they can scale out easily and make sure that they're buying hardware in increments they can afford. But you've got to be able to manage that. Application Center 2000 is the beginnings of a large amount of investment we're going to make in terms of making sure that we can manage, our customers can manage and deploy those applications. Commerce Server integrated B2C platform. We actually did pretty good with Site Server. We got about 40% of the market share, but it's only 10% of the total market. So what that means is 90% of people that build B2C sites build it from scratch. Okay? That's been easy because there's been so much IP money, VC money going into that market that they've got more money than they know what to do with, and they do everything from scratch. As the cost pressure and price pressure starts to go onto those guys, they're going to look for jumpstart kits. They're going to look for ways to get time to market down and reduce cost. Commerce Server 2000 is incredibly well positioned. We're going to have a pretty detailed demo on that in a second. We can also do B2B with this. It's not the entry I want to have in the B2B market, and I've got a much broader vision for what we need to do in B2B. But this isn't a product that we can sell today, or very soon, excuse me. And it absolutely can be used, the catalog management system and other components can be used to build B2B systems. Scalability is rapid or greatly improved, and you'll see EAP accounts on all of these. We will not ship a product until it is deployed in production in a major site for any product that I'm responsible for. Host Integration Server 2000, you just don't get in the enterprise game unless you can connect to the old host systems. Just can't get there from here. So host integration servers are entry there. COM transactions now over IP connections. Two-phase commit up to DB2. MSMQ, MQ series connectivity, very important. MQ series is pretty prevalent in the market. Messages into the AS400, another important feature. And then a lot of work on the OLADB drivers. BizTalk 2000. Okay? You're going to see things today that are going to surprise you, I think. I don't know how many of you have seen the BizTalk server demos or pushed on those. But the concept that any application that's out there today, or any component, or any web service that sends a message or receives a message can participate as a BizTalk orchestrated process. This product, I believe, will really help become the glue that makes us successful in selling and marketing these servers together as our platform. It is an exciting product. No one has anything that competes directly with this product. We need to spin the magic on this one, all right? Business orchestration, not workflow, orchestration. It sounds so much cooler, too. We can put a lot into that. We want to define the category and define the product in that category, and we need to move it into the market. Let me tell you a story about SQL Server. When we launched SQL Server 7.0, we were at the Bellagio Hotel in November of '98, having a big day, a pretty exciting day. It was Comdex. And the day we launched, Larry Ellison's over at Comdex giving his keynote. And he's standing up on stage, "We own all the benchmarks." I hate that son of a bitch. I just hate him. "We own all the benchmarks. SQL Server owns nothing." And at the time, even though we were kicking their tail on price performance, we weren't doing very well in terms of high-end performance. Well, today, as Brian showed, man, I'm never letting him go first again. He stole all my damn slides, too. Today, we own all the top benchmarks. Okay, I can go, we own all the top benchmarks. SQL Server owns them all, all right? Now, okay, IBM jumped in and got us on TPCC. No big deal. We're getting more hardware. We'll come back and beat them, guaranteed. Okay, that'll happen. And when we do that, Oracle and Scotty will fall out of the top 10. Never to be seen again. They cannot compete and scale out. Their shared disk architecture sucks. Spiro built it. I'm not kidding. He knows he built it. He built it a long time ago when he was at DEC. Oracle bought that shit from DEC, and they put it in their product, and it doesn't work. Actually, it does work. It just doesn't work as well as our stuff. Scale up and scale out. Scale up's important. 99% of our customers are going to use scale up. That's single big box. Okay. Thanks to Windows Data Center and some big processors and 64-bit Windows and 64-bit SQL Server, we're going to be in there punching those guys in the nose on the scale up. That, my friends, takes away. I don't know what tricks they have left in their bag. Okay, we've got scale out with commodity hardware. We've got scale up at, again, much lower price point. They have a really difficult time with their business and their value proposition going forward. And man, am I going to revel in the day where Oracle disappoints. Now, they just had a great quarter, and they got a lot going. But I'm telling you, they are a vulnerable business, and I'm going to continue to go through the presentation. We'll talk more about it. Good features throughout the product: data mining, XML, multi-instance for hosting, WinCE. We're getting positioned for wireless support, and a lot of EAPs in production. SQL Server is what I want all of our servers to be in terms of quality, and we can do better. We can do better with SQL Server. But we've been running Microsoft's entire business on SQL Server 3 months prior to actually shipping the product. Okay, we did the year-end close, and we had 20 other customers, 100% in production with their big sites. 2 of the big .coms, top 10, Buy.com and Barnes & Noble, in production before we release. We have to engineer quality into each release. So now we're going to do a demo. Greg?
Thanks, Paul. What I'm going to show is how the .NET Enterprise servers will help a company solve a complete end-to-end business problem and deploy this end-to-end solution on the web in a very integrated fashion. So I'm going to just advance the slides and set up the scenario for all of you first. There we go. So the idea is a shoe retailer, Shoes.net. And Shoes.net wants to deploy a front-end web presence. So they want to get really transition from retail to e-tail and get their commerce site up and running for their customers. But that's not all. On the back end, they've got some problems to solve to automate the fulfillment process of the orders that they actually have to ship. So let's take a look at that. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop in BizTalk on the back end and use XML to actually do back-end automation with a business partner over the internet. And that business partner is their distribution center, which they've outsourced the distribution. And they're going to use a wireless handheld device for order picking. We're going to show how MSMQ can run even on that pocket PC to help automate the picking of the inventory and the shipping. So let's get started and take a look. Okay. Switch over to this machine here, please. Okay. And what I'm going to show first is deploying the commerce site using Commerce Server 2000, so the front-end web presence. And I'm going to show you just the out-of-the-box experience with Commerce Server for the starter site. And the starter site is, think of it as a bare-bones user interface, and that's the retail solution site here. Bare-bones user interface with all the packaged back-end functionality that the company doesn't have to implement. So it saves many, many man-months of development. I'm just going to highlight some of those features. But the assumption is that out of the box, you're going to take that back-end functionality, and companies are going to attach a highly branded custom user interface, which I'm going to show in just a second.
So this just gets the developer up and going, something, quick, out-of-the-box experience.
Absolutely. So all we've done here is we've taken that starter site and we've imported the Shoes.net product catalog via XML.
And we're not going to win a lot of business with a sexy site like that.
One of the new features is the product catalog. So out of the box, we can already have the functionality up and running. With the product catalog, we can manage SKUs now in Commerce Server, SKU variations, etc., very easily. Another key feature is the user profiling service. So you don't have to implement any user registration system on the back end. So we'll go ahead and create a new user account real quickly. And I'll log in here as Sam Adams. I met Sam Adams on the opening party, and I think I met his brother as well. All right, that was pretty bad.
He was worried about that joke, and he should have been.
I'll submit that, and we'll now take a look at the profiling service. So I'll bring up the profiler here. And what we're seeing is the user can now fill out profile information. Commerce Server can track user behavior as users buy and interact with the site. And there's a back-end profiling service that can then deliver custom-targeted campaigns and advertising. So enough of the starter site. Let's actually take a look at the real site. So let me switch over to the site where we're using all that great back-end functionality, but we've attached a branded user interface that we'll be happy to deploy out on the internet. Okay. And we'll let that load up here. And here's the branded user interface. Again, all packaged back-end functionality we didn't have to implement.
This is better.
Much better. We can click around. We can see products graphically. We can look at the different shoes that we might want to buy. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And this time I'm going to sign in as a user where we set up some profile information. And that's Dave Smith. And as soon as I log in here, you're going to notice down here in the right-hand pane, we now have a targeted ad showing up. There's nothing before because we weren't logged in, but now the profiling service is understanding who I am, and based on how the manager has set the system up, is delivering targeted ads and custom campaigns and promotions for that user profile. Let's just go ahead and buy a shoe here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this shoe. Let's change the color and add that to the shopping cart. Now, as I buy the shoe, the shopping cart, the whole checkout process, all the steps you need to go through, again, back-end functionality we don't have to implement, so you don't have to write your own shopping cart. It's all part of the system. Also down here on the shopping cart summary page, you'll notice that we've got the Commerce Server predictor engine, which is delivering, based on an algorithm, basically related products that the customer might be interested in. And that can be set up based on promotions that you're running on your site or based on the most popular items for selling on that site that other users are buying. So here we can see related items. But I'm just going to continue shopping or
so that's
checking
a
out.
feature that's right out of the box. Customers don't have to develop that. Big time saver for the customer.
For the predictor engine delivering these custom campaigns. I'm going to go ahead and use the home address so it can handle multiple addresses here for customers and ship it via UPS ground and get a summary page, and then finally the kind of the order pipeline components where we have the credit card validation. Again, all automated. We don't have to implement that. And I'll go ahead and buy that product. And you'll notice it's order 1087. So remember that. We've just bought 1087. And that's pretty much the consumer experience with the site. But let's take a look at behind the scenes what the manager is going to do with Commerce Server to manage the site. And you do that through an application called the Biz Desk. So let's open up Commerce Server 2000 Business Desk.
So this is somebody at the .com.
At the .com, a sales manager or a technical manager using Biz Desk to manage the catalog, manage orders, shopping carts, and the like. In fact, over on the left-hand pane, you can see we have a menu here to manage campaigns. We can manage our catalog system. We can look at orders and pending orders, abandoned shopping carts, etc.
That's cool.
We can even set up online auctions here through Commerce Server 2000. But what I want to do is run a quick report. So we'll go into an analysis section and bring up a sales report for shoes.net and take a look at what's going on. A lot of rich reporting. And the key here is it's based on SQL 2000. The back end is running on SQL 2000. And so we get all of the advantages of the OLAP engine and the great reporting capabilities and data cube capabilities in SQL 2000 for our report. So I'll do a product sales report here. And we'll just do a quick one. And this is going to bring up Internet Explorer with Office Web Components. Again, no code here done at all, just out of the box with Commerce Server. This is a pivot table, and we can go ahead and maybe show a chart of this data. We'll scroll down, and maybe we want to actually take a look at not just the total, but all of the products in the catalogs, basically by SKU number. And we can change the chart, and maybe we can look at my favorite chart, which is the exploded donut chart. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. And there is the exploded donut chart showing the sales for our different SKUs in the system. Okay, so that's the kind of the back-end functionality, and I can't get into all the details here on BizDesk. But
that's all based on the OLAP server in 2000.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so we've deployed.
Every time just sell Commerce Server. Is that me? Every time you sell Commerce Server, you also sell SQL Server 2000.
Exactly.
All right, that's good. Just making that clear.
Okay, so that's well and good. Okay, so we've got our front end site up running.
Good.
Hello?
All right, we got a mic disaster here. What's going on? Here we go. Mic disaster fixed it.
Okay, can you hear me now? All right, so here we go. That's all well and good. We've got our front-end website up and running, but as many of you who deal with customers in the real world know, the devil's in the back-end integration. How are we going to automate our fulfillment process? How are we going to automate the back-end processing that goes with this front-end e-commerce site? So what we're going to do now is talk about that back-end integration and talk about how we're going to integrate with our business partners to do B2B over the web with our distribution centers and automate the fulfillment process for shoes.net.
So we just finished the B2C.
Exactly.
Now we're going to do
the back end.
Okay.
And we're going to extend the site with BizTalk Server. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. The key that I want you to put your mindset in is XML. Let's talk about XML for just a minute. I'm going to switch machines over to my BizTalk server, and I'm going to show you an order here represented in XML. So you think about Commerce Server storing orders for this site as a database record. But the key to the integration with different systems and with business partners is to transform that database record into an XML document that can be easily passed through different systems on the back end and passed between business partners over the internet, okay? And think of BizTalk Server as a master traffic cop that's going to orchestrate the flow of these documents through these different systems and between partners. We're using SQL Server 2000 to directly extract the order information as an XML document. So with the XML native support in SQL 2000, it's very easy to do this. And you can see here's a sample order represented in XML as brought out via native XML support in SQL 2000. So we've got the last name, the order. So we've got the last name, the order quantity, etc. Okay, I'm going to now show you the flow through the system. I need to go back to PowerPoint on this slide. Okay, and we'll take a look at the interaction diagram that we've set up here with BizTalk Server. We'll get there. Here we go. So the first thing that's going to happen is the customer is going to place an order, which I've done. The online order request is going to go to the shoes.net commerce site. Next, what's going to happen is the shoes.net commerce site is going to use BizTalk Server to route that order as a pick request to their distribution center, which is a business partner over the internet, as that XML document. The distribution center has folks who are working in the warehouse. The job is to pick the inventory off the shelf, and they're using Pocket PCs to receive incoming requests via an MSMQ system, where that those documents are queuing up on the Pocket PC in a wireless fashion. And they're going to do the picking. And once they pick that item and actually placed it in the ship bin so it can be shipped to the customer, they're going to indicate that on their Pocket PC and generate a confirmation back to shoes.net routed via BizTalk, so that then shoes.net can finally send an email confirmation to the customer that the order's actually been shipped.
All right, let's do it.
Let's take a look. Let's go over here to the Pocket PC. So remember, I placed that order, and it was order 1087, I believe. Order 1087, I believe. Let's brighten that up. So this is the Pocket PC. It's a wireless HP Giornato. It could be a compact iPack as well. But I'm going to go ahead and choose Pick and Process. It's a little VB app that's running MSMQ that's picked up the BizTalk routed order request for picking. And there it is, order 1087, ready to be picked. So let's pretend I found that in the inventory, placed it in the right ship bin for UPS Ground, and I want to indicate now that that has been successfully picked. So I'll say yes. Okay, I've done that now. We'll go over to the Dave Smith's email system on this machine here. And we'll take a look at his email. We're running Exchange with the Outlook web access here, and I'll just refresh my mail system. And we'll see that we've now got an email confirmation routed back via shoes.net with the order's been shipped. In fact, it's not much of a message, but just since you all technical, we decided to embed the XML directly in this email, so you can see that XML is indeed flowing end-to-end through the system as routed and tracked by BizTalk Server.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. We've done an end-to-end system here where we've added the... Thank you. We've done an end-to-end system where we've routed this order properly through the internet to our business partner and then sent the confirmation back. But what happens if the business process needs to change? And that, of course, is an ongoing requirement. Well, it turns out that BizTalk is much more than just an orchestration engine that's orchestrating this loosely coupled XML flow. It's also a complete application and business process designer. So let's take a look at that on this machine over here.
You're getting good points for saying orchestration a lot.
Thank you. It was scheduling rehearsals. All right, so what we're going to do is take a look at the BizTalk Application Designer, and this is the diagram. The Application Designer, by the way, if you haven't seen it, is based on Visio, so it's very easy to use. This is the diagram for the order process that we just went through. Okay, on the left-hand pane, the business analyst is going to draw the business interactions and actions that take place, the business flow. On the right-hand pane, the technical analyst is going to indicate what are the system components, COM components, script components, and the like, that are going to actually do the work for that business processing. Okay, so let's go ahead and change the business process. I'll go ahead and scroll in here or zoom in so you can see what's going on. I'm going to go to the left-hand pane, and this is going to be tricky while I hold this mic, I can tell you that. And we're going to go ahead and look at the end of this business process. And the end, remember, is sending this email confirmation back to the user. And what we want to do is extend the functionality here and have the user be able to optionally get a phone call confirmation as well. So that we'll place an automated call to the customer's phone number to say that their order has actually been shipped. So let's go ahead and do that in the designer. I'll just delete this line, and I'm going to go ahead and drag from my toolbox here a fork, and I'll connect these actions up. and I'm going to add a new action now. And I'm going to call that action the send phone confirm. Okay. And we'll wire that up as well. So now we'll have two actions going on in parallel. And we'll bring a join in and just wire this down to my end statement for the business process. Let's see. And there we go. So we've got two things going on. Now let's move over to the right-hand pane and indicate, as a technical analyst, what actually is going to be invoked, the technical components to do this work. And over on my right-hand toolbox, you'll notice I've got some elements I can drag out. COM components, script components, message queues, and something called a BizTalk messaging component, which will let me interact with other systems, such as SAP or packaged apps like JD Edwards, by mapping XML between these systems and platforms. But I'm going to use a script component because we've created one that will just place the phone call in an automated fashion. And I'll call this the send phone confirm port. Okay. And a wizard is going to step me through the process. I'll use the default Xlang scheduler engine, and I'll get to that in a minute, what Xlang is all about. And I'll find that script component here, and there it is, and just blow through some of these other dialogues. So now it's been placed onto my diagram. Now the only thing I need to do now as a technical analyst is connect that new business action over here to my new technical component. So we're just going to drag that line out and indicate that that is the component that's going to indeed do the work for that business action. Okay, now you think about that. We've wired up the processing. That's cool, but what about the parameters that are necessary? How's this phone component going to get the phone number? Again, think back to that XML order. It's all embedded in that XML document that represents the order. So let's go over to the Data tab. And in the Data tab, we now have a new component, which is the phone call port. And we can now wire that XML document as a parameter. And here's the XML document. I'm just going to drag and drop this node over here as an in to my phone call statement. Whoops, that's not exactly what I wanted to do.
You're doing pretty good with that, Mike.
Yes, a little tougher. And we'll try that one just one more time. There we go. Now I've got it wired in. And I'm going to now do something that you need to do with the beta. This will be fixed. And I'm just going to shut down the current running schedule. You won't have to do this once we ship the final product. And once I've done that, I can now compile this. So I'm just going to say File, Make Xlang. Okay, what is Xlang? Xlang is a scheduling language that BizTalk uses. It's defined in XML. So it's actually going to create an XML, essentially an XML script that is this process that will now be automatically transformed into an actual running application. So this is not just a static diagram. This is going to actually create the new business process and start it running on BizTalk server. So my compile and save is now complete, and now let's go check out and see if our system's up and running with the new business logic. Let's go over to, let's see, I'm going to stay on this machine. I'll just switch it myself. And place a new order in the system. Okay, so let's go back as Dave Smith and order a new shoe. Add it to my cart. And I'm going to change the quantity to 18 just so you see this as the real order going through. And we'll go through the checkout process as before. Ship it UPS ground. And just blow through these and actually place the order. And this time it's order 1088, okay, the next order in the system. Let's switch back to the Pocket PC now. Okay, Pocket PC, I'm going to go ahead and pick and process this as the inventory clerk here. And there's the order that I want to go ahead and process. And now let's go check the email back on this machine. Move back to the email machine and hit refresh. And here comes order 1088, confirmed in email, and our phone is ringing as the customer. So I'll go ahead and pick it up.
This is a message from Worldwide Suppliers to inform you that order 1088 has been shipped and should arrive at its destination within 10 working days.
All right, thank you. All right. So the good news is this is a demo that you guys are all going to get to do. We're actually going to work on it a little bit more and add some more pizzazz to it. But this is going to be the launch demo for Dev Days. as well as the demo that we're going to do for the enterprise launch. So it's going to be a fully scripted demo. Everything's going to be automated, so you can set it up and do it for your accounts or at your launch events. And in the longer version of the demo, we actually extend this with SQL 2000, XML queries. We scale out with distributed partition views in SQL 2000, and we do a demo of App Center for scaling out the middle tier. So just in summary, you've seen how the .NET servers help you integrate and build a great business solution end-to-end on the web. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thanks, Greg. Now I want to talk a little bit about how we make some money in this business. This is a deal that we did with Dell, a deal that we're working right now, not just a standard implementation or a standard sale, I hope. And what I've got are select D prices, okay, our lowest, our deepest discounts. We've got the old pricing and we've got the new pricing, all right? Now again, this has been a strange experience for me. I've never been in a business where so consistently our customers come forward to us and say, and this happened starting with SQL Server 7, you got to raise your prices. You just got to raise we're not taking you seriously as an enterprise player until you raise your prices. Okay. So we raised our prices. And so far, the analysts have supported us. Again, I believe these are very fair prices for our customers. And the big problem we had before is you guys would go out and you'd bust your tail, you'd work 6 weeks on a deal, call everybody under the earth, give away MCS consulting, and end up making $50,000 or $100,000. It's not how you make plan, right? So now, this deal, you can see, went from a $100,000 deal in our old pricing scheme, and with our new pricing and with some new products, this is a $500,000 deal. This starts to get interesting for you to go out and spend some time on. And if you pull a few other products through, this jumps up to a $550,000, $544,000. So that, I hope, you will all find worth your while, and we'll engage on this. But the idea is that we get you into the market with some products that you can sell and make some money on. Now, what about Exchange? Exchange is a great product. Exchange 2000 is a great product. The team worked extremely hard on it. It's an important product for us going forward. It is our collaboration. It is the way we round out the server business for our customers. We want to be able to say we've got the solution outside the firewall, commerce server, BizTalk server, helping you to orchestrate. We've also got the answer inside the firewall. Look at some of the great features in Exchange 2000. Active Directory. You're looking for the product that's going to help you sell Windows 2000 and get that Active Directory rolled out. Brian mentioned it. Exchange 2000 is the product. XML, protocols, multiple databases. The other big thing Exchange 2000's got going for it is the ability to really help the customer reduce cost of operations. You've seen what happened at Redmond. We were able to take 35 different servers in ITG and reduce that down to 8 servers. That's a tremendous cost savings and gets the customer's attention. And you can see, again, we did extensive rollouts of the system, sometimes painful, but extensive rollouts of the system inside Microsoft and with our customer. And as a result, we've got a higher quality product. Now, the product is hot. 55 million cows. My hat's off to all of you. 55 million cows around the world. That's at a tremendous install base. 500,000 servers. Gord says that's low. He says it's much higher. We've got a big opportunity with the upgrades. That's where we could potentially get some real revenue out of this product. Revenue on this product is going to be, it's a difficult thing for me to understand. I'm going to work hard with the team and try to figure out what we can do to push the revenue higher so that we can get more money out of the product. Mail is under tremendous price pressure, as you know, as well. But we've got a good product to work from, and we'll continue to push it forward. Over 40 ASPs out there today hosting, so Exchange is a hosting-ready product, and it's being proven in that space. We're going to have some great results for the launch in terms of internal rate of return from one customer, Quantum, and I think there'll be others. And again, this is a headline that you just dream for. Exchange topples Domino. If this is the app, if you've been waiting for a reason to upgrade to Windows 2000, this is it. So, my hat's off to the Exchange team there. I don't have to do this slide. Brian does it. You do it. The fact is, we're in the game. Don't apologize. You've got great products. You've got a great install base. The thing we've got to do now, I know it's important to win benchmarks, but I also know that it's not all we need. We have to win the big customers. Right now, the thing Oracle can stand up and say is that we own all the top customers, right? Amazon, Yahoo, and they stand up and they beat us with that. I know how to beat Oracle. You just keep giving them body punches. And we've given a lot of them, and we're going to keep delivering them. This year, we're going to win bigger accounts. Every day, we've got some money to go work on that. If you've got some ideas on big accounts that we can come and get, contact Kevin Stevens, contact Peter Boyd, contact the people that are in the program that are working hard to win those accounts every day. We are going to give you the ammunition you need to continue to grow sales. So this is a little report card. I love doing report cards. I do these all the time for all our competitors. Not scientific. I just list down the left side, kind of all the products you have to be in the, the platform business. And I list the players that are in the platform business, Oracle, IBM, and Microsoft. And then I list little grades. Now, you can argue, we can stand here all day and argue about the grades. Maybe I'm too generous to Microsoft and not generous enough to IBM. But look at Oracle. They got nothing. Okay, yeah, they got their own applications. And that's kind of a hot story right now. And their financials are actually pretty good. But in terms of, when I talk to customers, is any of their products really strong? The answer is no. They are getting some leverage by pulling them together, and they are marketing the heck out of it, but not extremely strong from a product perspective. The databases, I didn't put the databases on any of them. I'd put strong on all of them. All three of these companies have good, strong databases. IBM and WebSphere is interesting. That's a strong product, and they've got a strong service offering pushing into the market. Microsoft, we've got pretty strong products. Now, I'm a product guy saying the products are strong, pointing the finger at everywhere else. But Microsoft's got some tough decisions to make about how we're going to approach the enterprise. And believe me, we are addressing them. Oracle's got this position where they're going to be it all, right? They don't want to partner. They're going to deliver the service. They're going to deliver the apps. They're just going to do it. Well, they are pissing off the app vendors, and we need to leverage that, work hard with the app vendors, and push our way in the door. IBM is staying out of the apps business. They say, I'm going to be a platform vendor. I'm going to be a service provider, okay? And that's playing pretty well for them, and they're buying a lot of love with the partners, with the apps vendors, because they've got the services. We're kind of straddled right now. We don't have a clear strategy, and we're going to do it all, and we don't have a big consulting, although NCS is great. It's not the huge consulting force that IBM or Oracle have. So we've got some choices I think we're going to be driven to make in terms of being successful in our enterprise business model. And I'm working closely with Orlando, closely with Steve, closely with Charles, Ian. We're going to figure this out, and we're going to push hard and build enterprise credibility. That's what this market is all about. In terms of, I had to do my own tagline. How about all business platform? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, well, so I'm not in marketing. That's okay. They got the e-business platform and all the other crap. I thought the all business platform, because we are all about building the business application platform. That's what we do, right? You got to get out. You got to win the B2C sites. You've got to win the B2B. We've got to get in there and win the application solutions partners. You shouldn't lose any data warehousing deals. We should be winning all of those right now. We've got to get in there and win that business. Enterprise products, that's my job. We're not 100% there in every dimension today. I never claim, actually, I'll never be able to claim that. But we are making great progress, and we do have solid products. We have nothing to apologize with these products, and we have to push them into the market. The enterprise business model, we're looking at all of it, okay? Sales, services, should we pursue more service or representation to our customers, and how should we do that? Support, training, all of those things are on the board for discussion, in my opinion. We're going to build this business. Big opportunities from the product side. I think wireless could be huge, right? You can do, the map's on the horizon, so you're going to buy everything from a Coke to a car with your telephone, right? It's kind of a big market that's burgeoning out there, and we're looking very hard at it. And our products, all of the server products, will be wireless enabled over the next 18 months. I commit to you on that. All server products will be hosting ready. Again, I don't know how fast the hosting market's going to take off, but it's going to take off, and we've got to be there and be ready. This is an important slide. Okay, this is how we build the big business. Now, there's a couple things I want you to notice. Windows down here at the bottom, 2.1 billion. That's our plan for this year. And you got SQL Server up here at 1.1 billion. So SQL Server sales are about 50% in terms of revenue of Windows, with about a 17% attach rate. 17%. Now, you can argue that it's not really 17% attach rate because you got file and print in there and you got app servers. But we all know that we have not penetrated all the database market on Windows NT. That's important. We have to drive this number up. Could I see a day where the SQL Server revenue is larger than the Windows 2000 revenue, or the Windows revenue? Yeah. I think that's a reasonable thing to consider, right? That's how we build this business. We are not going to build a big business just selling Windows. You want a $4 billion business in fiscal year 05? Is that our server business? No, that's not how we drive the stock price up, right? We've got to push SQL Server into the market aggressively, and we've got to let SQL Server help pull through some of the other products. Now, you can argue with these numbers. These are just projections that I kind of put together to kind of show that we can build a $10 billion business. But I absolutely believe we can, and I'll work very hard to help you do that. Now, in terms of a challenge, you want to throw out a challenge? I was trying to think of a challenge. I'll put out a challenge. Brian's got the Harley and the raffle and the 100,000 seats. We get to a point where SQL Server's revenue is greater than Windows revenue. I will throw a party never seen before at Microsoft. I commit you to that. If we do that, I guarantee you, we'll drive this number up in a big hurry. This is just a 2% attach rate to SQL Server. If we just drive this up 2 percentage points to 5%, this business goes from $200 million this year to $500 million. It's important to get the pull-through, baby. You've got to get the pull-through. We're not going to get there on Windows. You've got to sell Windows. We're nowhere without it. Don't get me wrong. But we're not going to get there on Windows alone. So my call to action, I talked about this briefly before, win the apps. You've got to win the apps. We've got great benchmarks, great scalability with all these. NT can take on any customer in the world today. Don't apologize. Punch them in the nose. Win this business. Data warehousing, every time. We own it. We've got the best product. We've got the best mind share. Never lose a data warehousing deal. Just say it with me. Business orchestration. Come on now. Oh, Jesus, that sucks. One more time. This is a winner. I'm telling you, that's $1 billion business if we can drive it up. Pull through the .NET servers. We talked about what that can mean. If you're selling Exchange, sell SQL Server. If you're selling SQL Server, sell Exchange. We got to get the pull through on those. And we can drive the upgrade revenue. That's it for me. I promise I'll do a cool video next year or something.